Hello, here we are. Super honored. Good afternoon. Looking for you here. What a sweet day. It is Friday. Happy Friday to all of you. And I'm just here because I promised that I would come and do a Q&A for the upcoming Radical Self-Care Roadmap that starts on Monday. And I've gotten so many questions about this particular program that I wanted to make sure that your questions were answered and that I was able to field any sort of doubts or concerns that you might have about taking on such an adventure as the Radical Self-Care Roadmap. And so I'm just right here to answer those questions. So I'm going to invite you to say who you are, to introduce yourself if you so choose. If you're already signed up for Radical Self-Care Roadmap, tell us that as well. That's always great to know. I'm like super technical today. I think I'm feeling really proud of myself because I'm on Instagram at the moment. I'm on YouTube. I'm on StreamYard, which I hadn't even heard of 2 months ago. And I'm on Facebook. I think I'm in all these places. So I'm just looking right here to make sure that we've got, and I've got all those great things to make sure that I've got all the answers that I can send your way. And so we're going to jump right in. So, okay. So Radical Self-Care Roadmap. First of all, I just want to do a super quick overview of what this program is and how it came to be. So I teach a program every September, and I've taught it for 7 years, and it's called Pilgrim. Some of you have done Pilgrim with me. And Pilgrim is a Live Your Yoga program, and it's 108 days. And if you've never had experience with me, doing a 108-day program might feel to you like I'm asking you to give me your firstborn child. It's a huge commitment of time and energy and resources, personal resources. And so I decided that I wanted to do a program that took a little bit of a step back, stepped away from the yogic traditions per se, and really looked at the science and looked at the ways in which that we can bring in practical experiences, practical techniques and strategies into our lives so that we can make the most of our lives and so that we can rise up into the next best and highest evolution of ourselves. Like, what does that mean? It means that when you wake up in the morning, I want for you to feel, no matter what's going on, I want you to feel like when you rise, you're like, you know what? I got this. And I know it's possible because I have been implementing these particular techniques and strategies and ways of being in my own life. And it's essentially the work that I do one-on-one with clients when I do alignment coaching. It's the work I'm doing with them. I'm just bringing it to the masses at one time. Sign up, peeps. Exactly, Jill Hennis. So with that, I'm just reminding you that you have everything that you want to be inside of you already. So all the things, all the ways in which that you want to show up, they're already there. It's just a matter of having a roadmap, having a guide and a community and a methodology that's been tried and true so that you can go from where you are to where you want to be. You can go from the life that you've been living to the life that's longing to live through you. And so that's what I really, really, really want you to know about Radical Self-Care Roadmap. Now, with that, I also want to offer that essentially what you're going to be getting on this journey is a whole bunch of information and practices and strategies that you're going to be able to use from this day forward in your life. And they're not going to go away after 28 days. They're going to continue to live on a private membership page. And so what we've already got there, for example, are your 28 days laid out. There's actually you have a day-by-day guide that helps you get in touch with what's going on inside of you and to set your priorities. It's like the best wellness planner you could ever imagine because you actually have one per day where you're like, okay, what am I doing today? How am I doing it? And here's the thing. If right now you're thinking, oh my gosh, like I'm already overwhelmed up to the top and I can't take any more. What I'm here to say is that's exactly why you need this. That's exactly why you want this, is because if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling like there's already so much going on in your life, or you're feeling like you're teetering on that edge of overwhelm or hopelessness or uncertainty, or it just feels like, oh my gosh, I just can't take another thing. I'm here to say, yes, you can, and you don't have to, right? Yes, you can, and you don't have to, because through this journey, through this community, with this roadmap, with your 28-day daily guides and the 4 modules and the lessons that go with that are provided in through this program, you're going to find that you have inspiration every single day. You have support every single day. You know what to do when you don't know what to do. And that's huge. That's what I promise I'm going to provide for you. So I'm just going to step back now and take a little drink of water, a little self-care myself. I want you to write your questions if you've got questions, and I'm going to keep on coming back to those. If you've got other things that you want to say, if there's doubts that you have, anything at all, just bring those on. And so I'm just going to go through my little list of questions here, things that have come to me. So a lot of times people are asking, are you going to do this again? Are you going to do this again? And the answer is absolutely. I'm going to do it again. That's what I think. And I also will say, I don't have any idea when I'm going to do it again. So I'm putting so much blood, sweat, and tears, love, heart, and soul into this program that I am for sure creating it so that I can do it again. What I know to be true is that this time around and at this time that I'm going to be uber, fully, completely, entirely involved. I'm going to be with you every single day for 108 days. Haha, pilgrims. I'm going to be with you every single day for 28 days. Every single day. I'm going to show up in the mornings. And I'm going to show up for check-in. We're going to have a daily inspiration. I'm going to share that with you. I'm going to field any questions, any concerns, any challenges that you're facing right there and then. And then you're going to have that content. Even if you can't show up live, you're going to be able to come and receive that content in our private Facebook group or on YouTube. Either way, it's going to be there for you for those 28 days. Then all that material is going to be there for you afterwards. I don't know when I'm going to do it again. So I would say if you want to feel differently, then you got to do something different, right? That's what I say. So in that way, if you're leaning in this direction, I say absolutely go for it. If you're feeling like you're living just a little bit below your potential and you know that you would have more energy and more vitality and be able to make a greater impact if you just could fill in the blanks, I say go for it. So those are the things that, that I want to offer to you in terms of how we turn our attention to the sun, let the shadows fall behind us, how we continue every single day to rise into our next best and highest evolution. That's what I want for you. That's how I want for you to show up again and again and again. Okay, so will I do it again? Absolutely. When? I don't know. And what I'm here to say is if you want to feel differently, why not now? Like, why wait? Why lose more ground? Why fall away even a little bit more? Why not just jump right in there, both feet in, show up? That's what you got to do. If you show up every single day, and those of you who've done Pilgrim with me, you know this about me. If you've done coaching with me, you know this about me. If you've been on retreat with me, you know this about me. That for 20 plus years, this is what I do. And when I show up to teach, I give you absolutely all of me. And I'm going to give you absolutely all of me. And I'm not going to step down. And so if you show up, if you meet me at the starting line, I'm not even asking you to take it to the end. I'm saying meet me at the starting line because there is 100% money back guarantee. I know that sounds cheesy, but I just want you to know it's absolutely risk-free. Just get in there, jump in there with me, jump in there and feel what it feels like to be in a community with like-minded and like-hearted women. Get in there and feel what it feels like to have support. I mean, as a teacher and as a yogini and as a health educator, I struggled for years not asking for help. And I'm not sure what happened, but maybe 8 years ago, I was like, in my mid 40s already. And I was like, you know what? I'm done with that story. I'm going to show up and I'm going to find those teachers. And to this day, I have guides and I have teachers and I show up and they hold the lamp for me, and I'm going to hold the lamp for you. So that is what I have to say. So what is Radical Self-Care Roadmap? It is a program that is designed to hold you, to walk with you, to guide you, to help you cross the bridges that maybe you can't even see yet, to cross those bridges between the life that you are living to the life that's longing to live through you. I don't want to sell you on this. That's really true. Like, nah. What I want is I want you to know how you can feel in the mornings. I want you to know that when challenge and struggle and COVID and economic collapse and fires and lost jobs and lost income and deflated plans for the future, when those things happen and show up, and illness and injury and car accident and you name it, and troubles in your relationship and troubles with the kid, like could I go on and on and on? That when those things show up, you can actually have less reaction, less frequency of reaction, less intensity of reaction, and quicker recovery time. You can recover way more quickly. You can immediately go, I got a tool for that. I know how to fix that. I know how to deal with that. And in a moment, you can step up into that so that you are spending less and less energy. You're wasting less and less energy and less life force on worry, anxiety, depression, concern, preoccupation, hopelessness. Like the monkeys in the head, they're not swinging from the trees to the degree that they used to. And you can do anything, beloved. Like you can get through absolutely freaking anything. This I know to be true. And that's what I want to stand there beside you. That's how I want to stand there beside you. That's how I want to be there with you. Hi, Valerie. Hi, Jill Hennis. Look at you beautiful souls here. Okay, so questions. What kind of questions do you have about Radical Self-Care Roadmap? Some of the things that I said I would speak to. One of the things is, what is a great breakfast for me? Like, what the heck? We're going to talk about food. We're going to talk about meditation, but it's not going to get all woo-woo-woo-y. It's not going to be that. It's going to be totally grounded in practical, real life experiences. So what does that look like? That looks like 15 minutes or fewer. That looks like weaving these practices in and through your life. Not taking time away or outside of your life or pushing your responsibilities away so that you can come to these practices. It's about how do I live a life that is marinating in self-care, right? Valerie, you could speak to this. You know how these practices touch you. Jill, you could speak to this. You know how these practices have touched you and changed you in your life and how incredibly potent they are when you feel as though you can reach into your toolbox, reach into your jewel box and pull out exactly what you need to get to the other side of any particular high stress life situation. That's what we're talking about. So I said, what's a great breakfast for me? I think this is a loaded question, teacher. What I would say is it's different for everyone. But what I would say is that there is a way for you to find out. So I know in my bones, and I'll give you lots of options to choose from, right? My world is in health education. I've put together over the course of my history and my past life. I put together clinical, whole foods, weight management courses, and I developed an entire department for a hospital around this. So I'm talking like, you don't have time, I'm going to tell you how to just like whip it together. Where is it that that you can turn to simplicity in your life, right? So I'm going to help you with all of those things. So I'll tell you what I do. And others will share their experiences. That's one of the beautiful things about these teachings and these practices and being in community is you're like, oh my gosh, I need some inspiration for food. I need inspiration for dinner. What's a super simple whole food dinner that you're making? And we're all right there. We're all coming together and we're just doing that. And we're part and parcel of that. So what do? I wake up in the morning. So I said, trick question. I wake up in the morning and I have green tea. Most mornings. Now, I can drink caffeine and I'm good with that as long as I don't drink too much of it. So I take 1 teaspoon of loose leaf green tea and I put it in my French press. This French press has never seen coffee grounds. It's only seen loose leaf tea. I put that in my teapot and I steep that. Meanwhile, I take just like a tiny handful of cashews, less than would fill an Altoids tin, right? Remember Altoids, those mints? So like not very much at all. Less than would fill this little chunk of cards, right? Just like that. 1/8 of a cup to 1/4 of a cup. I put those in my blender with hot water, a tiny bit of Himalayan salt, a very little tiny itsy bitsy splash of vanilla, and just a gloop, a quick little gloop of maple syrup. And I blend that in my bullet. And I use that cashew milk with water, and I use that cashew milk for my tea. So that's my first bit of fat and protein in the morning. That's the first thing I do, is go to that. Then, secondarily to that, the next thing that I do happens, so I have my tea in the morning, early bird morning, and then about 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11, I make a smoothie. And my smoothies vary based upon what I have in my refrigerator and in my freezer. Constantly, at 50 years old as a woman, I put collagen, organic collagen, in my smoothie for my joints, for shifting and changing bodies, always. I also put my menopausal herbs. So what are those? I put oil of evening primrose, and I put wild yam root in my smoothie. So I'm doing hormone replacement therapy in the most natural plant-based way that I possibly can. And then usually some organic berries, some walnuts, right, to get my healthy fatty acids, also to get fat because I'm hungry at that point and I don't want to have a high sugar boost and not have some real substance in terms of protein and fat. That's what I'm looking for. I also put a vegan protein in my smoothie, an organic vegan protein in my smoothie. A lot of times I'll go to Costco, because there's Costco in Mexico where I live, and I'll buy a container full of 4 times washed organic spinach leaves. And I take that container just as it is, and I put it in the freezer. Or I pull out all those little spinach leaves and I put them in a Ziploc and I put them in the freezer. But I do it that way while they're dry. And they actually are just like little tiny frozen flakes of spinach. And I take a handful of those and I put those in my smoothie. I usually do a half a banana and I usually do a half of an apple. And that's pretty much it. Sometimes I'll vary it up. Sometimes I'll put almonds and cardamom and water and ice and chocolate protein powder. So sometimes I do it that way, but generally that's my breakfast. So I don't live in a hot or in a cold climate. So I don't go necessarily in my body. I don't go to oats or hot rice cereals or any of those things. Although you totally could, you most certainly could. If you're in a colder climate, another option would be to take brown rice, dry brown rice, about a 1/4 cup of brown rice in the morning, dry, and you put it in your bullet, your magic bullet. If you don't have one, you'll want one of those, I'm telling you. Like I have a Vitamix as well, and I have an Oster blender. Bullet is my first and most beloved blending tool because it cleans up easily, it's easy to use, it's rapid, it's strong. So what I do is I take a little bit of dry brown rice, like just fresh from the store, right from the store. And I put about a 1/4 cup of that in my Vitamix and I just flash blend it, flash mix it, as such, right? And then it's like cream of wheat. It's the consistency of cream of wheat. I don't want to turn it into rice flour. I want it to still have a tiny bit of granularness to it. And then I put that in with water. Sometimes if I've got frozen bananas or a banana or an apple. I chop it up real small and I put it right into the water and I cook it with it. Super forgiving. When you're tiny, itsy bitsy, like 1/16 of a kernel of rice, which is about what you end up in size, 16th to 1/32 of a kernel of rice. Once that has been moistened, you'll know if it's cooked through, because you want it to be chewy, or you don't want it to be chewy anymore. You want it to be totally smooth, and it'll be a little bit white if it hasn't been cooked through. So all you do is you just, like, how much water do I add? Just add some water. Add like double. Add a half a cup, 3/4 of a cup of water, your 1/4 cup of your rice, add water, put a little bit of fruit in, put some cinnamon, put some ghee, right? I could put dried coconut in there. I could put dried fruit in there. I could put frozen blueberries in there, right? Whatever. And I just mix it until it's the consistency that I want. And then I take it out. I put a little bit of almonds, like blended almonds, raw almonds on the top, a little bit of coconut flakes on the top, a little bit of cashew milk again, right? Or almond milk or whatever that is. If I didn't put any fat in it, I want fat in it. So I could also put coconut oil, or I can put ghee on top. Sometimes if I'm really feeling it, I put a tiny little bit of maple syrup, but I don't want it to get too sweet, because then it turns it into a dessert and it turns it into a glycemic index, challenge, right? For you later. And then you're sleepy. No, we don't want that. And we don't want very much. That's the other thing. Right? There's a fine balance, and that's part of the self-care plan. Sometimes we numb out and dumb down by eating too much food or eating too much of the wrong types of food that actually bring our energy down. You want to eat less and eat whole foods that are deeply sustaining, right? So we talk about that. We talk about, like, what kind of exercise is best for me? I can't tell you that. I can tell you how you can find that out for yourself. And that's what I do. I do it all at this point in my life. I do a little bit of weight training. I do a little bit of running, mainly walking, right? But I run-ish 3 days a week-ish. And I found that has helped me immensely during what is now peri to many menopausal, menopausia in Spanish, menopause in English. Right? Into this perimenopausal time, and this menopausal time, as my body just right now is telling me that I might just have to have another hot flash. You guys, this is wild. This is a wild ride. So, therefore, I do a little bit of running. I do a little bit of walking. I do a little bit of weight training. I do a little bit of calisthenics. I do a little bit of dancing. I do a little bit of jumping. I bought myself for Christmas this year, I bought myself a mini trampoline, and I put music on, or I put a podcast on, and I tap, I tap, right? I tap and I jump, right? So I do it all. And I'm going to talk to you about how you determine what is best for you. If you're in a cold climate and your ceilings aren't too low, I say mini trampoline. It's great for the immune system. It's absolutely phenomenal for cardiovascular. It's getting everything going in your body. And then you add additional movements to it. You create a series for yourself. Like, we can talk about all of this. So a lot of you don't know, my undergraduate degree is in exercise physiology. Like, I came to yoga, and yoga was my life force, is my life force, is everything. And now I'm like returning to my Catholic roots. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I was an exercise physiologist for a number of years. I ran the fitness and wellness program at the University of Arizona. Oh, I forgot about that. No, I'm bringing all those things back into the Radical Self-Care Roadmap. So all of those things are here and part of it. Okay, Jill Hennis says, totally, these practices are gold. Thank you. Jill has done Pilgrim with me for years. She's done coaching with me. You have done coaching with me through Pilgrim. And Jill has also been on retreat with me. So Jill is, and I'm not paying Jill a penny to say that, to say this. She's a lovely human being. She's a dancer, and she's a yogini, and she's a teacher, and she's Canadian, right? All these things are wonderful things. And I'm super grateful that you said so. And Miss Valerie Branch is here as well. All right, so Debbie Stratton, who's Spring Groove, Jenny Phillips, Andrea Johnson. Hi, you guys. So tell me, do you have any questions, additional questions? Speaking about what's a great breakfast for me, I also said, let me see, what else did I say I was gonna, see, I'm looking at all the different places where you might be showing up and giving me information. There we go. All right. I want to make sure that I want to answer the questions I said I was going to answer. What does a morning ritual look like? Okay, I spoke a little bit to that already. A morning ritual. You can call it whatever you want, but what I have found is that when we bookend our day with light, when we turn our attention to how it is that I rise with the light and I go to bed with the light. I want light in my heart. I want light in my mind. I want light in my body. I don't want to be heavy. I don't want to be thick. I don't want to be like weighed down by life. I don't want any of that. Now life's going to happen. Things are going to come. Things are going to do what they do. And I just want you to know, and I want to remind you that you have so much power within yourself, and that your productivity and the impact that you make in this life and in this world has way more to do with what's going on up here than what's going on out there. And so a morning ritual for me is I make sure that I rise every single morning. Like if I'm sleeping in, and I don't care where it is on the planet, where it is on the globe, or what the time zone I'm in, or what the light is looking like, the very latest I'm going to sleep in the winter is going to be 7 o'clock. Like never past that. Unless I'm, if I'm sick or something that's different, then I just let my body do its own thing completely. And then I, reintegrate all my practices. But like on a day-to-day basis, I am going to consistently and constantly rise with the sun. It's sunrise here is about, I don't even know, 6 o'clock, 6:15. And I'm habitually getting up between 5 and 5:30. Why would I do that when I could stay in my nice warm bed? Or here in Mexico, in my cool bed. It was like 90 degrees when I went to bed last night. But it's cooler today because we had major rain last night. But in any case, why would I do that? Why would I want to rise so incredibly early in the morning? I do that because I want to come to my altar. My altar is just right over there. I want to come and I want to sit and I want to listen to the same piece of music that I listen to. It's a 22-minute piece of music. And it is an anchor for me. It brings my nervous system right in. And I say my thank yous. And I open myself and I notice what I'm feeling in my body. I notice my emotional state. And I recommit to my personal growth. And I recommit to rising into my next best and highest evolution today, best I'm able. And I pull a little card for myself. This is just what I do. All right, this is how I do it. Then I get up and I go make my tea. And I drink my tea and I journal. Right. There's all these little things that I'm doing. And these morning rituals, these anchoring practices are essentially you saying to the universe, hey, I'm right here. I'm yours, baby. Like, take me and do with me whatever it is you want to do. Right. Whatever it is that you want to do. Take me and make me into the highest and most potent, valuable human being that I can possibly be. This is driving me nuts, this piece of hair. I want to lick my fingers and stuff it behind my ear, but I'm just going to go like this. Okay. Take me and move me, turn me into the most valuable tool that you can. And then at night, I sit for just a few minutes before I sleep, literally. Sometimes it's 3 minutes. I just sit and I say, thank you. Thank you. I just do a mental review of my day. No beating up, no beating myself up, not even for a second. Not gonna do it. I don't do any of that. Thanks, Heather Lewis. You're beautiful too, right? Did you guys hear the horn? He's selling bread, pan, Mexican bread. Such a tangent, but I have to tell you. So one night, my partner's Mexican and he loves Mexican sweetbreads. So he bought some one night and I tasted it and it was made with bacon fat. not happy. Anyway, we're in a different country, you know, when in Rome, but I just can't do it. I can't have anything to do with it. Evening ritual for myself, right? Because I do my smoothie about 10:30 or 11 in the morning, and then I eat. I'm gonna eat right after we finish this. It's 5:30. This is late for me. Usually I've already eaten by this time, but I had a little afternoon snack so I could come here for you. And what I do is I eat my dinner. It's really my one meal a day. Right? I have a few almonds midday, or a banana and, you know, piece of fruit or an apple or something, and some nuts. I'm thinking always fat, protein, fat, protein, fat, protein. So I don't just have a piece of fruit, right? I have fruit and nuts, something like that. And then for me, this time of year, I will have a grapefruit about 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. I probably won't do that tonight because I'll be eating dinner a little bit later. Late dinner by about 6:30. And then I'm in bed by, you know, if I'm tired at 8, I'm in bed at 8. If I'm tired at 9:30, I'm in bed at 9:30. If I'm not tired at 10:30, I'm in bed at 10:30. All right, come on back to me if you're multitasking. I want you to hear that. If I'm not tired, I go to bed at 10:30. Like, I gotta go to bed. If I stay up after that, I lose my window. So it's super important that I get my sleep. Okay, so that's that. So that's what a morning ritual looks like. We're going to talk about how you create that for yourself. So over the course of these 28 days, you're going to be trying on a whole bunch of different things. And it's sort of like when you're trying on new glasses, right? When you get your prescription, you get your new glasses, right? And the process of getting to that place, this is your radical self-care roadmap right here. This is it right here. Do you like it? Right? But it's for me. It's only for me. This is what I need for me. This might not fit you. You put these on and you go, oh, I can't see a thing, right? That doesn't serve you. It's for, each one is for you. But the process, remember when you go to the optometrist and they change the prescription, they say, does this work or this? And then this or then this. And you sit with your chin there and your forehead here, and they check and check and check and and they check and check and check, and they keep shifting and changing. That's what you're going to do. You're going to try on all these things. You're going to see what works. You're going to see what raises and increases your vitality and your energy. You're going to go, oh, that is so not for me. It doesn't mean it's not for you forever. It means it's not for you for right now. Because things change all the time. 5 years ago, no weight training for this girl, no running for this girl. I was yoga. Now I know, because I'm balancing some hormonal stuff, that cardiovascular activity is super important to me. And I'm in a place where I can do it more readily. It was harder for me to feel like I had a place where I could do that year round. Now I love it. So what's right for you is going to be developed over the course of time. And then at the very end of the 28 days, you're going to have your radical self-care roadmap, just like this. That's going to suit you. It's going to be just for you. For nobody else, it's going to be just for you. Just that. Just yours. Right? That's how that goes. So how the heck can I realistically add self-care to an already busy life? Another question that I've gotten. What I'm going to say to you about that is you put a cog in the wheel and you put the tiniest little thing in. And is it going to be hard at first? Absolutely. Is it going to get easier 3 days in? Maybe. Is it going to get way easier 5, 6, 7, 9 days in? Absolutely. Is there going to come a point where you're going to integrate those practices so deeply into your bones that you wouldn't give them up any more than you'd give up brushing your own teeth? Absolutely. That's what's going to happen for you. You're going to find that you don't need to do a ton. You do a little here, a little here, a little here, a little of this, a little of that, a little of this other thing, a little bit more over here, a little bit now, a little bit while you're sitting at your desk, a little bit while you're making your food, a little bit while you're waiting for your tea to steep. I did that on purpose. That's a practice. The yawning is a practice. It's a releasing of the jaw. Like I'm forcing my jaw wide open. I want the musculature to open. What just happened? I'll tell you what just happened. My nose started to run. My mouth started to water. When that happens, my digestive juices are also beginning to be released. So too is the synovial fluid in my joints. So all of these things make a difference. I can tap, I can Tarzan. I do this a lot. I'm laughing because gravity has its way with us, doesn't she? Right? I do this a lot. It helps release my musculature. I do this a lot. Heel of my hand on the forehead. What I have noticed is my cardiovascular activity has changed the tone of my skin immensely. Taking collagen has helped immensely. Like there are just some things that I won't fall away from, that I keep coming back to again and again and again and again. So realistically, how do you add self-care to an already busy life? You just do. You do it in tiny little bits. It's like, I don't have time to brush my teeth. Do you say that when the world is crazy? No, because it's as much a part of you as your right arm. I don't have time for my right arm. I don't have time to shave my left armpit. I don't have time. No. You bring it in tiny little bite-sized bits. You infuse your life with self-care. And when your whole life is infused with self-care, it is there and then that you will find that there is a vitality that comes forth, and miraculously, all of a sudden, you don't feel so tired, so overwhelmed, so exhausted, so hopeless. All of a sudden, you're opened to more creative possibility and potential, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So those are the pieces we're going for. Those are the things that we're going for. That's the way that we bring self-care into an already busy life. Is it hard at first? Absolutely. Just for the first few days, though. It's like, is it hard to stop drinking coffee? Oh, absolutely. Is it hard anytime you start an exercise program? Absolutely. Does it get easier? Oh, yeah. Like I literally have days where I'm like, did I run today? Where in the beginning, it was like my body would say to me all day long, oh, you were running, didn't you? You went running. Oh, you really ran. Like I could feel it in my bones and in my muscles and in my feet and in my knees. And it took a while of trying it on. So that's the same way. How the heck can you realistically add radical self-care into an already busy life? You're just going to do it, sweetheart. And I'm going to support you. I'm going to walk with you. I'm going to give you lots of ideas. I'm going to help you figure out how what's not working is not working and how you bring in what's going to work for you. You look at those roadblocks that are standing in your way, you look at them closely and you go, you know what? I don't think I'm seeing that clearly. Because what I'm here to say is ultimately in the end, I absolutely promise you that what's best for you is going to be best for those that you love. It's just the nature of it. But it takes a process to get in and through all the other stuff. All the other programming, all the other conditioning that holds us down, that holds us back, all those things. So yes, self-care is imperative. And from a scientific perspective, what is it doing for you? Self-care is setting you up so that you are operating more consistently from the relaxation response, which is the neocortex of the brain, instead of from the stress response, which is at the base of the limbic stem of the brain. And you want to be operating more and more and more as much as you are able from that relaxation response, because there is no doubt your stress response is going to kick in. It's going to kick in, sweetheart. It's going to do it. If you need to run from the saber-toothed tiger, you're going to run. It's not as though you're going to be so relaxed that you're going to be like, oh, I didn't even know there was a tiger. No, your body's going to kick into that. It's going to happen. But can you operate more consistently from the relaxation response, from the part of the brain that sees possibility and potential, that's willing to forgive, that's willing to be generous because one knows that we are connected to a deep source of vitality that moves in and through us at all times? So offering that up to you. Okay, so Andrea Johnson said, can you please repeat the menopausal natural elements you add to your smoothie? I caught oil of evening primrose. So I would say you have to research this for yourself. This is work that I've done with my naturopath, but oil of evening primrose is most definitely one. Another one is wild yam root. That's another one. I would say another that has come my way and has been useful, and I use this, I'm going to be really careful. This is what I use. This is what I use with my naturopath, is St. John's wort, right? So oil of evening primrose, wild yam root, St. John's wort, And then I also use valerian root. So, and all of these have, like, they have their way and they have their rhythm. So those are the things that I use. I also use maca root. So I'm not suggesting that all those things are good for everyone. There's also something called seed cycling. You could Google that and check into that and speak to your naturopath or your primary care physician about that as well. Okay, what else we got here, sweethearts? All right. So any other questions? Is there anything else that you have for me? I'm going to pull up the Facebook recording and just see if there's anything else over here for me. Whoops. I think I saw a comment there and I just barreled out of it by accident. Let me see here. Okay, any other questions? I'm bringing both feet to the start of radical self-care. I need more of what you are offering. Thank you for putting this together. I know it will be so worth it for me. I know, Julie. And you know, Heather's doing it too. So the two of you together, I mean, this is going to be super sweet for you guys to be doing this, because you're going to be able to support one another just a few steps from each other because you're neighbors. I miss our walks. Julie and Heather both live in Vernonia, where I used to live in the foothills of Oregon. The most pranic rich air, I think, in the universe. Most definitely one of the highest pranic, like highest life force places. Okay. So let me see here. Let me just hop on in here. One more time. I thought I saw a question there. Oh, that was Julie. There we go. Okay, so seeing those comments coming in. Let me see what else we got here. I'm going to hop in here. Any other questions? These practices are gold. Very good. Okay. So no other questions. If you don't have any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and there's sweet Amanda. There's my dear beloved friend Diego. There's Linda K. Arnold, Debbie Stratton. We'll see you. Spring Groove. I love this. Okay, I love you all. Have a glorious evening. Just wanted to make sure you had all of these questions answered. Just a reminder that we are shutting down registration for the Radical Self-Care Roadmap at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that is in 2 hours and 16 minutes. We're going to be shutting on down. So this is the time, if you want to join us for Radical Self-Care Roadmap. This is the time. I don't know when it's going to happen again, but I'm loving you and I'm super grateful you're here. Tell your friends. This is also a great place for you to just, if you see anyone, if you see a sister, a sister-in-law, a neighbor, a colleague, anyone, if you see someone and you're like, you know what, I am just feeling like they need a little bit of support. They've put some weight on, they're drinking a little bit too much wine, they're doom scrolling, they're getting caught up in anxiety or depression or hopelessness or helplessness or any of those things. They're frustrated, their relationships struggling, whatever it is, I say, tell them about this. And especially if you're doing it, tell them that you want to do it together. We need more grounded, powerful, potent, clear-headed, open-hearted, wild women in this world. And I'm here to say that I'm just right here to walk you step by step every single day for 28 days on this journey. So I love you tons. I wish you the best. I hope you have a glorious evening, and you can email me if you still have questions, or you can post comments here, Britt@brittbsteele.com. I'm going to put the link again for you to come and check this out. If you want to learn more, you just go to brittbsteele.com. I'll put the description here for you so you can follow that, brittbsteele.com, and it says Radical Self-Care Roadmap. It's all right there. All right, loving you so much. Have a glorious, glorious evening, and I'll hope to see you at the starting line. All right, big love. Bye.